Welcome to online lectures by CA Studies. For more lectures online, please do visit castudies.lk.
Let's look at chapter Graphs and Equations. This chapter is a continuation of the equations chapter, but however, it's more focused on graphs. In the equations lesson, we learned a bit about graphs, how it works, how the plot points work and all of that. Not bit, actually we learned the basic. Because of that, I'm going to skip some parts of this lesson but focus on the main areas which could be tested in your exam. And whatever taught in the equations chapter, you must fully refer because it could be tested in the exam. What I am skipping is the way to draw the graph. That I have done in the equation chapter. So you could refer it. Fine. Let's start with linear equation. Now, look at the example. Company manufactures a product and the total fixed cost is 75. Variable cost per unit is 5 rupees per unit. Now we have to create an equation for the total cost. When creating equations, I told we must have y equals bx plus a format. This is the formula or format of the equation. Alright. So, first of all, we should remember that y is our depending variable. That means it is depending on x. Therefore, x is our independent variable. Okay. Now, we want an expression for total cost. Because total cost should be the subject, we have to, and total cost depends on output. No? It's naturally a depending variable. And also another hint what I would do is, if they ask for total cost equation, that means they are referring total cost as y. So, total cost will be the depending variable which is the y. Okay. So, if they ask something, create an equation for total profit, then then you can choose the y-axis to be your total profit. Okay. So, total cost I am choosing as y equal 5 rupees per unit. So, we can put 5 and unit will be represented by x because the output is independent, because that is what we produce now. So, like it doesn't depend on the cost. Therefore, it is an independent factor. Because it is independent, our variable cost, when applied to our independent output, it will change and affect the total cost. So, we must make sure that this is inserted into the formula. And this portion is called the variable cost. Plus, we know we should add the fixed cost. But fixed cost they have given 75. Now, this A over here, this A, we will get this A when x equals 0, isn't it? That means if you draw the graph, this is always the y-axis, this is always the x, this is minus x and this is minus y. So when x is 0, y is some figure, that is always this a. This a is only in the graph plotted here as the intercept. It is called the intercept. So, understand the nature of this fixed cost element. When the output is 0, will we have a fixed cost? We will have a fixed cost, because when output is 0, definitely there is a fixed cost. Maybe we have to pay rent or electricity. Whatsoever, when the output is there is a fixed cost. So that fixed cost will be equal to A, because when the output is 0, there is a figure for y. If there is a figure for y, when the output is 0, that figure must come here to the equation. What is it as per the question? 75. Therefore, our final equation will be y equals 5x plus 75, where y is the total cost and x is the number of units. This is one example of creating a linear equation. Linear equation, just to recall what is meant by linear, either if the gradient is positive, it will move this way. Negative gradients move this way. Right? Sorry. So when the gradient is positive, it moves this way. That means when B is positive. When B is negative, it moves the other way. So, now this is okay. So if you take a line like this, it will be equal to y equal bx plus a. So this is called a linear equation or linear line. Okay. The gradient B, the gradient here in this case is a variable cost. Okay. So towards this side, the gradient is always positive. That means B is positive. But towards this side, B is negative. Okay. So make sure, I have taught this in the equation chapter. So you could refer the videos there and get the idea. But just understand which side it has to go when you draw the line. So this is a positive figure where 5 is positive, so it has to go this way. Okay, let's do another question. Try on your own the other question. They say a company sells a product for 150 rupees. That means the price is 150 rupees. Find an expression for total revenue in terms of Q, quantity sold. So they want an equation for total revenue in terms of Q. We have to express it by the quantity wise. So we know total revenue equal sales price multiplied by, I have done this in the equation chapter, this is just a recalling, into number of units sold. Okay, it's the number of units sold. Sales, so total revenue we name it as TR. Sales price is 150. Number of units sold is Q. So what will be our equation? TR equals 150 Q. So we could say basically TR, I told you if they are telling to express something, find an expression for a particular component, then that starting component is only the y-axis. And whatever getting multiplied to some unknown thing, that unknown thing is only the x-axis. Remember that very well. So TR is equal to the y-axis and Q is equal to the x-axis. Hence, there is no A. A is not there. Why? Because when the number of units sold is 0, will there be any sales price or will there be any revenue? There won't be any revenue when the units sold is 0, because units sold is only the x-axis and total revenue is the y-axis. So when the units, when we didn't sell anything, can we have a sales? No. That's why A equals 0 for this equation. Then how this equation will be drawn? It will look like this. If you see x and y, it starts when quantity equals 0, total revenue y is equal to 0. When quantity equals 1, total revenue equals 150. When quantity equals to 2, total revenue equals 300. See, so the graph goes, the line goes like this. It cuts through 0. That's the key thing. Cuts through 0. The line gets cut through 0. So if it gets cut through 0 like that, that means there is no intercept. The intercept is equal to 0. Fine? Okay. Now they asked, if you sold 100 units of Q, what is R? So 100 units of Q means what will be total revenue? 150 multiplied by 100. It will give us the total revenue because Q is 100. So it is 15000. TR will be 15,000. So when quantity is 100, total revenue is 15,000, somewhere here. Okay. Likewise. So this is back a revision on what we did on equations, but again refer to it and be very familiar because they will ask you these simple questions. It's very important for you to score marks in these areas because these are very easy areas. Let's then move to solving simultaneous equations using graphs. Okay. Now in simultaneous equation, Oh, I didn't mention, may I mention it here? Simultaneous. Okay. Now we learned in the equations chapter solving simultaneous equations to find, this means what? First of all, we'll see the two methods we can follow. That is the algebra method covered in chapter 2, or I think it changed to chapter 5 or 2 I guess. And then anyway it's the equations chapter, and another method is through graphs. I said I will cover in the graphs chapter, which is this. Now why do we, so first of all, what is simultaneous? What is simultaneous equations? Simultaneous equations are two nearly similar equations that have some form of relationship. Example, y equals 3x plus 16, and they have given another equation that has a relationship to this, which is 2y equals x plus 72. So this is the first equation, this is the second equation. What is the goal of simultaneous equations? The goal, it is to find the common x and y coordinate that will satisfy both equations. Both equations. To find the common x and y coordinate which will equal these two equations, this one with this one. Yes, we checked how to do it via algebraic method. They will rarely ask through the graphical method. They will not ask you to draw the graph in the exam, but they might give a graph and they'll ask you to spot the middle point or the intersection point, which I will tell you all how it is done. Okay, so keep in mind the goal, why we are solving simultaneous equation. It is to find the x and y value that will suit both equations. Equation 1 and equation 2. Making equation 1 equal to equation 2. Okay. So, okay. So, the graph method. Now, in the graph method, step 1 is draw the line. Step 1 is to draw the line. In drawing the line, you will first have to find the coordinates for the first equation and coordinates for the second equation. How to find? When x equals 0, what is y? And when y equals 0, what is x? So let me put it 1 and 2. So when x equals 0 for the first equation, y equals 3x plus 16, x equals 0 means 3 multiplied by 0 plus 16 is, 3 multiplied by 0 is 0 plus 16 will give us 16. So the coordinate for the first equation will be when x is 0, comma, y is 16. Because coordinates are written in this format. First of all, you write the x item value and then only you put the y value. equals 0, what is y for? The second equation. Then it will be 72 divided by 2 is equal to y. Therefore, it is 2 by 3, 36. So, x will be 36 when y is equal to 0. Sorry, wait, when this is for, yeah, it's correct. When x is 0, y is 36. Now, when y is 0, find what is x. When y is 0, it will be y equal 3x plus 16. When y is 0, then minus 16 plus minus 16 equal 3x. X equal minus 16 divided by 3. 5.33 minus. So minus coordinate. When y equals 0, x equal minus 5.3. So this is for the first equation. And second equation, again, 2y equals x plus 72. When y equals 0, x plus 72, x equals minus 72. When y equals 0, when y equals 0, x is minus 72. These are our coordinates to draw the line. Now, let's start to draw the line. First, draw the graph up with minus figures because we got minus coordinates. X plus, this is y, this side is minus x and this side is minus y, and here we have 0. Now, when x equals 0, let's look at the first equation coordinates. When x equals 0, y is 16. When, let's mark 16 somewhere below. Okay. And when y equals 0, x is minus 5.3. Let's mark it here. So, these two basically are the knot or the dots. So, it has to go through this. Okay. Best to do with in the maths book itself. If you could do, then you could allocate the values to each cell itself. Okay. And for the second equation, when x equals 0, y equals 36. Let's mark 36 here. And when y equals, so this is the point, when y equals 0, x is minus 72. Let's mark it here. Now, actually minus 72, it can't be close to 5.3. I'm going to mark it very far. So, minus 72. Okay. Now see how to do it. Now you first draw the line for this. Okay. Then mark, very important for you to mark the name of the line. What is the name of the line? The name of the line is the equation of the line, which is first line we drew. Now this is the second line's equation is 2y equals x plus 72. First, and this is second, you can name. First one, this is y equals 3x plus 16. Now, interesting fact. Let me put it here. Okay. Can you notice that the both lines joins? It joins at one point here, isn't it? This point is the point or the coordinate that gives the x and y value that satisfies both these equations. So that's why I told it's very important for you to do this in a graph paper. Because if you do this in a graph paper, you can get the exact coordinate points in the graph paper itself, because you can equally split it. Now, yeah. So now here, therefore, accordingly, it should be, x should be 8. If you did it in the graph paper, you should get the value x equal 8 and y equals 40. So the coordinate, ultimately, the coordinate that satisfies for both equations 1 and 2 is 8 and 40, because 8 is x and 40 is y. This is it you should do when you solve simultaneous equations using graphs. Alright, so this first of all you should first draw both graphs on the both lines on the graph, and then find the intersection point. The intersection point is the coordinate that gives the values satisfying both equations. Now, let's move on to quadratic equations. They have a particular format. Okay, that means their equation style is different. The format of the equation is different. It goes as y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. The gradient here is a different story. I will tell you all how to find it. Now you can't say this is the gradient or this is the gradient. I'll tell you why. First, let's understand how this equation's curve or graph can be drawn. So you, in your graph paper, one type is it can come like this. Another type is it could go like this, or it can be like this here, or here, or here. This can come here. Whatever can happen. But this is the maximum type of curves applicable for such equations. And these curves have a name. That name is called parabolas. Okay, parabolas. If you want to find a value of an equation of a parabola, you can use this formula. That means the equation of the parabola is y equal ax squared plus bx plus c. What I am saying is, if you want to find the x value or the y value using the equation, that means x and y value both, then you can basically use, first of all, find the x value using an equation that I am saying now, which is x equals minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And this b, a and c refers to this a, b and c value. So this is to be used when you don't need a graph. So in the exam, if they don't give a graph and if they ask you to find the value of x, then you must follow this equation and find the value of x, then find the value of y that will satisfy. That means by applying the x value to this equation, you can find y, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so this is an equation. These two equations are to be memorized. because if you have to solve quadratic equations without using graphs, then you must apply these two formulas. Work out an example. Y equals minus 2x squared plus x minus 3. Now what is A, B and C we must place. In this, A is minus or plus 2? A is minus 2. What is B? They have mentioned only x here. If they mentioned only x here, that means there is something 1. Only 1 is it, 1 is next to x. Okay, that's how we assume. So, D will be equal to 1 because nothing is there at the moment. Therefore, we assume it is 1. Definitely it should be 1. And what is C? C is not simply 3, it is minus 3. Okay. Now, let's start to draw a parabola. So, first of all, you should set out your x values from maybe take a range from minus to plus. Okay. So, I am going to take minus 3 to plus 2. And then find what is x squared, or you could find straight away what is minus 2x squared. Minus 2x squared. So, for this minus 3, how you will get the answer? Minus 2 multiplied by minus 3 squared. Minus 3 squared means minus 3 into minus 3. Minus into minus is plus. So, this will become plus 9 into minus 2 will give us the answer minus 18. Okay. Same way, if you do, you will get then, okay, so then you have your x values straight away. X value can be used for bx now because there is only 1 next to x. So, straight away we can use this. And then if you get minus 3, so you have to minus 3 from all of this. Then only you will get what is y. So, the answer for y will be minus 3, minus 3, minus 18. How much? Minus 3 is minus 6. Minus 6 minus 18 is minus 24. This is minus 13. This minus 6. Here minus 3. When x equals 0, y equals minus 3. There is an intercept. That's what it is explained through here. And this is again minus 6. And this is again minus 4. Minus 9. Okay. Now let's draw the parabola. Equals 0, y equals minus 3, which is here. And when x equals minus 3, y equals minus 24 here. When x equals minus 2, y equals minus 13. When x equals minus 1, y equals minus 6. This is somewhere here. Then when x equals 0, y equals minus 3, which is we marked it initially. When x equals 1, y equals minus 4. And when x equals 2, y equals minus 9. Now, you see there's kind of a curve visible here. Draw the curve through the points. Wow, nearly came. So nearly a curve. You see, the curve is like a bell shape. Because why is it? Because of this point, or I would say this point. When x equals 0, the y value. So when a is a minus 2, always it will be bell shaped like this parabola. Why? Because in this equation a was equal to minus 2. Whereas if a is plus 2, then it will be this shape. Okay. So remember these two very well. It is very important for our next section, differentiation. Okay. So make a note of this in your text writing book, where if the a is next to x squared, if that is a minus, then the shape of the curve would be like a parabola. But if it is a plus, the shape of the curve will be the other way, this way. This one is proved by what we did now. See, the shape of the curve came this side as a bell shape. And also, now this is by plotting these lines. Now you created this graph. You can do it via that equation I told as well. That is x equals minus b, the entire long equation, plus or minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. This you can apply this equation when you want to draw this graph. So you can say, first of all, to draw the graph, we are first step is, if you reflect your equation chapter, to draw graphs, the first step is to find when x equals 0, what's the value, and when y equals 0, what's the value. Isn't it? That's the first step. Now, in this equation, if you look at this equation, first let's see when x equals 0, what should be y? Minus 2x squared plus x minus 3. When x is 0, minus 2 into 0 plus 0 minus 3. Y equals minus 3. It is correct. Yeah, because we got the same thing here, and also, so we can say y equal minus 3. So this coordinate will be 0 and minus 3. Whereas when y equals 0, how to find x? So you will say y is 0, minus 2x squared plus x minus 3. Wow! Now we got two unknowns, x squared and x, and we have to find the root as well. So now let's try to solve this. I am going to teach you something. Okay. Minus 2x squared plus x plus 3. Now for this, if you have done maths in A level, you will know, or in O level also, that this is coming out of two factors. Okay, it is coming out of two factors. But in this lesson, you don't have to know those two factors. Instead, what you should know is this formula for x. So remember 0 and minus 3. I am going to take this out. You apply this formula that I told initially to find the x and y value. You apply this only when, remember, make a note in your writing book, when y is equal to 0. Okay. So when y is equal to 0, this part we need to find x. What is x? For that, apply the formula. X equals minus b here, the b is 1 here, we found out. But b is 1. So I am going to put 1 here. now plus or minus they have given. That means it depends on the this particular answer's value. So I'm going to just put plus or plus, and I'm going to take, no, I'm going to put plus or minus, and then b squared is 1 squared minus 4 multiplied by a is how much? Minus 2. Don't put plus 2, put minus 2, okay, and multiply by minus 3 divided by 2 multiplied by minus 2. Then what is the value of x? So this is minus 2 into minus 3 is plus 6. 6 into 4, 24. 1 minus 24 is minus 23, and the root of minus 23 is, so it will be 1 minus 4.79, because it's a minus 23 here. But you can't take root of minus 23. So you first of all take the root of 23 and then divide by minus 4. Okay, so you get 1 minus 4.79 is minus 3.79. Divide by minus 4 will give a plus answer. Now remember the opposite sign rules I taught you all, where if you divide minus with a minus you get a plus. Then 3.79 divided by 4 plus 0.945. Okay. So let's now mark the coordinates. When x is 0, y is minus 3. When y is 0, x is plus 0.945. You see a mismatch between the previous graph that we drew under the, that means the same graph for the, so the graph drawn for the same equation and the graph that we are going to draw now, because we got a point here. So it's kind of coming like this, which is a bit weird because it's different. So I say that you don't draw the graph like using this method, because you cannot come to some approximate way. You need to draw the graph based on this method by giving a range of values. Okay? But then you might question, then when should we use this equation? Of course, the use of the equation remains the same. You will use the equation when y has to be equal to 0. Imagine a situation like this. Y is the revenue. Then you should say, oh, y is the profit. Good example, y is the profit. When y is profit, and let's now your manager is saying, okay, when will we make a break-even profit? Now what is a break-even profit? A break-even profit is a profit where total marginal revenues and marginal cost equals the same. So where the profit is basically equal to 0. So total profit is equal to 0. That means y is equal to 0. Then the manager wants to know at which quantity does profit equal to 0. At which quantity that happens? When you find the x value using this formula. That is the use of this formula. So very important, this formula, because in the exam they might ask. Definitely they'll ask one question. Okay, so be aware of this. Don't just take it easy. When y equals 0, what is x? They won't just give y is equal to 0, find x. They will indirectly tell that. They will say, we want to know what is the quantity to produce when to make profits 0 or to break even the profits. Then what do? Then you know, okay, if they gave the profit equation, they will give it. Okay, if they give the profit equation is y equal minus 2x squared, then that time itself you must decide that it is a quadratic equation. And then you should click, okay, if it's a quadratic equation and if y is equal to the profit and if profit should be 0, that means this y also must be 0. And if y is 0, then how to find x? For quadratic equations, I must apply this formula. This formula will give me the answer of value of x when my profit is 0. Basically, the quantity to produce to break even. That is how you will be tested in the exam. So make sure you know very well, you remember this formula and practice questions with this, then you will understand. Okay. So with that we finish quadratic expressions or equations, and let's move on to differentiating these quadratic expressions. In differentiating quadratic expressions, you must remember or learn or understand certain things. First thing is, what is differentiating? It means you are finding the finding the maximum point and minimum point of the parabolas. If you take a parabola this way is when a is a plus figure, and this side, or it can come like this also, okay, like this it can come. Then this shape will come if a here is a minus. Now, what is the maximum and minimum point? You will have a maximum point in a in a U-shaped parabola. You will have a maximum point in a bell-shaped parabola, which is here. Okay, here only you will have the maximum point of the bell-shaped parabola. But you will have a minimum point from a U-shaped parabola, which is here. So you cannot have minimum point when a is a minus, and you cannot have maximum point when a is a plus, because the curves are different shapes. Definitely now we can't say this is we can't find a maximum point here because all the values are high here, right? It is high here. So here's the lowest, there's no highest because it's not a circle. Okay, but over here it is like half circle, it's a curve. So it has a maximum but doesn't have minimum because it doesn't finish like this. So it has only a maximum. That's why it's very important for you to know whether a is a minus or a is a plus. Then also important to know whether the curve is a bell shape or curve is a U shape, and it is also important to know in which shape will we get the maximum point or the minimum point. Okay, right. So what is differentiating means? Differentiating means finding the value of these minimum and maximum points. They say when you differentiate, they say at your minimum point. Now this is the next most important thing to remember. At the minimum point, your gradient is equal to 0. Because it is kind of flat. Okay, it is flat. That's why there is no slope. Because we get a gradient when there is a slope. No. I told you in the equation chapter. But here there isn't a slope. It is flat. Because it is flat, the gradient will be equal to 0. Why should we differentiate the equation is because this is a curve and not a straight line. So there's so many mathematical stuff here to say why should it be differentiated, but to find a point in a line, we must differentiate. Differentiate involves taking dy divided by dx. Same as gradient. Gradient equation is what? Change in y divided by change in x. For finding the gradient, when gradient equals to 0, then the difference the gradient formula we should follow is dy divided by dx.
Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned with castudies.lk for more lectures online.